Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Mim Fox. I'm one of the hosts of the Social Work Stories podcast and also a part of Social Work Media podcast production company. I am really pleased to be speaking to you, and thank you so much for thinking about offering us a story for Social Work Stories or for any of our other podcasts in Social Work Media. I'm going to talk to you a little bit first for a minute about how to shape your story and how to think about putting it together. So when we think about a story, we want to think about a beginning, a middle and an end. And if you can think imagine a narrative arc. So you might have the beginning of your story where you're setting the context. Where is it that this piece of practice happened? Where is it? What sort of system was it in? What sort of role were you doing? What sort of environment were you working in? The next stage, we want to think about the story itself. And one of the really important things about telling a story, firstly, is de-identification. So you would have been sent out from us the Social Work Media de-identification policy. In this policy, it's really clear that we have a legal obligation to make sure that our clients, as well as other professionals that we work with, are not identified. And so not only do we have to take away the names and the addresses and all the normal things that we would do, we need to make sure they can't be re-identified as well. So what that means is you need to remove all the things that might make someone foreseeably put the pieces together. So if someone is from a very specific town, you need to make sure that's a very different sort of town. If someone has features in their story that, if you put all those pieces together, equate to be this person, you need to change some of those key features. So our team are there to help you with that de-identification process, absolutely. Once you're thinking about how to structure the actual story itself, what we want you to do is think about who the listeners are. The listeners for Social Work Stories are social work students, they're social work practitioners, but they're also members of the public. So what they're wanting to feel like is like they're there with you in the room. So being able to actually open the doors to them and letting them know what that's like is really important. So when you were in there working with that person, what did you smell? What did you hear? What did you see? What were the different things that made that room, that moment, that person come alive for you? The more you can describe that, the easier it is for people to feel like they're right there with you in your story. In the last section, what we want you to do is engage in a little bit of critical reflection. So we want you to ask those deeper questions of yourself and tell us a little bit about what were your motivations in that story? Where were you coming from? What were the values that you were working from, the value base, but also what were the theories that might have informed your practice? Is there anything larger than you that you can reflect on about this story? And thinking about what might be lessons for other people who might come and work into that space with you as well. That's going to be really important for our listeners to really gain the expertise and experience that you're bringing to that story. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, but I'm not going to tell a story, I might have a piece of policy or some research or something else that is actually really important to social work practice, then what I want you to think about is, or maybe it's your life story, what I want you to think about is still keeping that narrative arc. So still setting the context for us, thinking about what is the main bulk of what it is you're trying to say, and then engaging in that critical reflection, because keeping that arc actually helps keep the listeners going with you in your story and through a logic that you're telling. And of course then we'll bring it together in the episode from the beginning to the end. So thank you so much. We really value your time. We know that you are giving of yourselves when giving us your story, and we couldn't do this podcast without you. So thank you again and again and again. Bye.